Okay. Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Samanavshi in Yerushalayim Kodesh. We're located not too far from the central bus station on Rehov Zichron Yaakov number 6. So you can walk from there, drive, bus, and if you're coming from Kutzlar, please join us when we're visiting Eretz Israel. We're learning Pirkei Avos now. It's the first year, usually 9 o'clock starting. And we're in the first parak, in the first Mishnah. Discussing the Meforshim, how the commentators, how they learned Pshat in one of the three things that the Anshe Knesset Gedola had told us to do in order to preserve what they had instituted, that we understand that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is also Gibor V'Noira, even in a situation of Golus and Churban. So just now to continue, review the last point we mentioned yesterday, based on the Yalkid Yosef from Movavi Yosef Zitzal, and we have mentioned Pshat in Yusunim B'Din. Okay, number 7.
And recalls that from all these Nilmad Ad Kama Tzrichim Lios Nasunim B'Din. We learn many things about how many things that are necessary in order to be careful in Din. Maher Lahoke al Gedulei Olam, and to not rush to argue against the great people of the world. Achar Ha'ien Hadik Heitin, until after you've delved carefully, deeply into the matter, and deeply and well into the matter. Yesh Ha'holchen al Ha'rabosehem if Emes lo Yardu L'sof Datem, because there are those who argue about
Because there are those that argue with their Rebbeim, Emes, right?
They
argue is based on the fact that they weren't Yered L'sof Daitam.
You have the depth of knowledge.
Right, they didn't go down to, they didn't realize the full understanding. They didn't come to a full understanding of their Daitam. So this I'm going to just relate back to what we learned previously, that when we're dealing with understanding, judgments. So just jump back to number 3. That was the Emek Dover had mentioned Sunim B'Din. Perish Lo Horos Mitzad HaSvora. Person shouldn't make a decision based on his logic. Ela api oimik hachira, a thorough analysis, b'koyach achra, and able to come to a using the power of the decision making. That what you come to the realization. It's impossible to say anything else. Meaning through the understanding of what you're trying to determine, you learn, and you come not through your logic to the decision, but you come through, as he said, continue. Use Talmud b'midrash shel Torah. A person's going to go into a study of the various midrashas of Torah, which I believe he's referring to everything with Shas and Poskim, the full understanding of the Rishonim, how they understand the sugyas of Shas, and how the Poskim and Shulchan Aruch and the commentaries go into the whole question. So once a person's done that, he realizes that this is the one in true way to paskin, to decide, but not based on his svura, which is complementary to what the Yalkid Yosef is writing over here, that you shouldn't be mahir lecholik al gedoy le'olam. How are you going to ela acher ian dak ve'hetiv, until after very discreet and thorough investigation. Meaning, based on your logic, when you look at what previous generations, the Chachamim of the previous generations have said, sometimes it seems difficult to accept what they're saying logically. That's because you're only looking at it through the viewpoint of logic. But we want to go further than that. We want to understand all the proofs that they usually bring to their opinions and understand the basis of what they're saying. So as difficult it may be to accept at the beginning, until you've actually gone through a full analysis and a deep analysis, it's that you can't righteously and justifiably argue on what they say, because we have to give them the benefit of the doubt, certain benefit of the doubt, that they've thoroughly gone through everything that they wrote and as it's presented to us. And if not, then you have a right to ask questions. I mean, that's basically many of the commentaries, especially in Shulchan Aruch, you get involved with whether or not these proofs that are brought to support one way of reasoning and decision are the actually proofs, or the infutable proofs, or can they be asked upon the proofs? And if they are, then you have to bring other proofs, or if it's disproved, it's disproved, and then you have a right to argue. But again, only in the light of proofs and not logic. Good. Okay, let's go to 8, the Sefer Echina. Explains this in Yidin Bedin as well.
Okay. Sefer Echina, Parshas Re'eh, Mitzvah, Taf Samach Gimel, 463. That's wrong. Avos Pirkei, Mishnah Aleph. Hava Mesudin, Hava Mesudin Bedin, should be taken in your judgment. The Kol Man Nishchayev Al Hadavar, you should, in order that you should sit on the, look into it, I guess is a part of Deutsch.
Right.
On the davar, the issue. V'noda bo kol ha'emes v'lo niya nimaharin, and should learn the truth, and you should not rush. No maharin b'din, you should not rush to judgment. Pen timas hazchia, in case you would miss the basis of it.
Pen like Nimis, I think, is like from to hold back, to hold back from the zakah. I mean, the person who's zakah is supposed to be rewarded with being zakah.
Okay.
You're going to Nimis, you're going to refrain from being making the person zakah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anisa Mamono, the Alamos Haimes, or to take away somebody's money by missing the truth.
With the lack of truth, the lack of truth, that'll cause a loss of money in an unrighteous decision.
The alcohol said, never about all this, it says, the Doreshas, Dorashta, the Hikarta, Vishalta, Hatev, you should question and examine and ask, well,
Good.
you come to the correct truth about the issue.
Okay. So also you see that the Sefer Echina is bringing this pasuk in as well, as that's part of the concept that we have of being Nisunin, and we're in number 8. Right, in the Sefer Echina, that he's explaining also a different aspect of what's Nisunin Bedin. That it includes that you have to, why do you have to be patient and deliberate and careful in your judgment, right? Laman, for the sake that it should be Yashiv ala davar, that you should come to a understanding of the issue, right? It should be Nishash, should be settled. Nishash should be settled the davar. I mean, it shouldn't be left in doubt what the question actually is. You have to come to understand what the actual, what we call the essential, the kernel of the problem, the kudus of the point, what's being disputed, and how can you understand the different claims that are made, or the evidence that's being brought to you. How can you understand that in terms of arriving at the emes? And it shouldn't be done quickly, right? Why? Because if you do something quickly and make a mistake, you're liable to nimas hazaka. You'll be able to refrain from being vindicating the person who's supposed to be vindicated, or you'll be cause a loss of money untruthfully because of the lack of the truth in your decision. That's all part of the pasuk. That's talking about like the edim, if I'm not mistaken. This is a pasuk in the Brian referring to the Dorashta, V'charka, V'shalta, Haiti. We should cross-examine the edim, the witnesses, carefully. Those who are coming to the Beis Din and giving factual evidence as they want to present to the Beis Din, and you should make sure that it's understood to be truth and proper what they say. And based on that, then you'll use that information in allowing you to make a decision. So they have to be careful in dealing with the Eidim as well in a patient, deliberate fashion. Okay, number 9, the Sefer Haredi.
Sefer Haredi Mitzvahs Losase Perik Daled. Lifnei or
Iver.
Lifnei Iver Lo Titei Mikshol. And don't put a stumbling block before the blind, thank you. How's you read? Makes much more sense that way. Okay, Hozirenu is be careful about this. Zahir Ma'od, be very careful. Bedin in judgment. Shlo Horos Esbnei Israel. Asher Lo Kadas, that you don't rule for Israel that is not according to. Lo Shokadas is according to knowledge.
Yeah, to that,
Does it mean just Das Torah at this point?
yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Dasan usually is the understanding of what has to be done according to Das Torah.
Okay, V'Avar Rabbeinu Zikron L'Vracha, Have Mesulim B'Din, and Rabbanu Zikron L'Vracha have said to be careful in judgment. And Rabbeinu Yonah, and it's a quote for Rabbeinu Yonah, which doesn't.
Well, we'll be going down to 11, that'll be 11 and 12, we'll be getting there. So he's actually, the Sefer Haredi is based on what he's saying here, based on the Rabbeinu Yonah, which we're getting to. Yeah, now we have to go to 10 to get a little bit more understanding. But that he's tying in another aspect of the Sunni Bedin in terms of the mitzvah of Lifnei Iver, right? That Lifnei Iver, how does that fit into being the Sunni Bedin? Right, let's look again. Lifnei Iver lo sitin meksho, v'zuru b'zeh lizar oi bedin. Part of this Lifnei Iver, included in this mitzvah of Lifnei Iver, is the warning that we have to be very careful bedin. Shelo l'oros es ben Israel asher lo kadas. You should not decide for the Jewish people which is not according to the Paskin, the Shulchan Aruch and Shas and Poskim. You know, the Chazal say in order that you shouldn't do that, right? That you have to be Nesunim B'Din. So in order to eliminate the transgression of Lifnei Iver, a Dayan has to make sure that he's Nesunim B'Din. Otherwise, he's creating a situation of Lifnei Iver. Let's see, there's a little bit more explanation based on this, and we'll get into the Rabbeinu Yonah, number 10.
Bir al Sefer Mitzvos, what side you go?
Yes.
Okay. Nimi Torah, who's your grandson?
Back home.
He's more fun than you are.
Sure.
Mahai Timer, for this reason, because
Number 10. Number 10 is.
Concerning Tosos, right? Sham B'divrei Maskil Ha'oskim, but I'm not quite sure what the reference is.
Yeah, well, he's just getting started, yeah.
Okay. The Hodar Amrinin Shatar Revius Yayin Al
Yora.
Yora, where it says, drinking a revius of wine you should not see, you
should not paskin, meaning you
no, they're right, you should not paskin, okay.
If a Dayan has had a revius of wine,
right, you shouldn't judge.
So
okay.
since he's under the influence, even though you say revius of wine is really not that much. First of all, we have to understand that the wine that they're referring to at the time really is much stronger wine than we have. But the halakha l'maisa, whether a revius of wine is applicable today, bisman hazeh, that's a shayla l'maisa. But the revius of wine, you might think it's such a small amount, but nevertheless, a person's a little bit under the influence, or it just takes a little lack of judgment, and you made the wrong decision.
Hainu dafka b'hora b'isrin heter ayin shom. This is specifically in judging isrin heter, and I'm going to check there. Gam nira al pima shekasav b'shari tshuva. It also seems, based on what's written in the Shari Tshuva, the Rabbeinu Yonah is
So now we're going to get involved with the Rabbeinu Yonah. Right?
Shar Shlishi Sifnun Beis.
Good. Vizel Lashon.
Vizel Lashon Lefi Mufnidei
Lifnei Iver.
Yeah, my tongue is getting stuck.
Okay.
Lifnei Iver, lo titin v'shon, before a blind person not put a stumbling block. Hozrin b'zeh, you should examine into this. Shelo l'haros es b'nei Yisrael asher lo kadas v'shelo kahalacha. That you should not rule for it b'nei Yisrael, not according to Das Torah and not according to what the halacha is. V'amru Rabbeinu Zevron Levracha Have B'sunim B'din. You should be very careful in your judgment. V'nimhare Lev Leheven or Leharosh. You should turn your heart to examine and to look into. Lo Yetzas Es Nafsh Yo Silu Es Nafsham Matas Mikshal. So in order that you do not put a stumbling block before the blind, the hatasehem hatasam kaveda mode and do a great head.
Right. I mean, by doing this, if you're not going to be careful to make sure there's no lifnei iver involved, then the sin is very great, very serious affair.
V'chulu al kol loshan ayin sham.
V'im kain
B'shekara b'shichras, when somebody is drunk, even the tos shechicha, it's easy to make mistakes. Avalei b'chal lifnei iver. This is certainly putting a stumbling block.
Right. So again, you have to understand it's a little bit of a different understanding of lifnei iver than maybe we usually have. Here, the judge is supposed to be making a decision. By drinking a certain amount of wine is prohibited, so he's going to now make a mistake in the halacha. So how's that a lifnei iver on who's the lifnei iver? Who's the
person is depending on the judgment, because if he gets a wrong judgment, he's going to say this is mutter, this is usher, and therefore do the wrong thing.
Oh, so that's what he meant. Isser v'heter, meaning it said right, Hainu davke boros and isser v'heter. Why? Because the judgment is supposed to be that this meat is, let's say he's has a question about shchita. So if he passes the wrong way, right, it turns out that it's not kosher when he said it was kosher, so this person in fact is going to be eating something that's not kosher, which is lifnei iver. Yeah. Very good, so that's why you have to be very careful. When it comes to, it's like dini mominus, so let's say he by mistake, he's taking money out from the wrong person. So would that be lifnei iver?
It probably, but that's at least fixable.
Oh.
If you make a mistake in money, if you're determined, you can fix it. Once somebody's eaten something treif, you can't uneat it.
That's right. Very good. Okay. Let's see. Let's see the Rebbeinu Yoni himself. That's in number 11.
Amram wants to read it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nov lifnei iver lo titen mechshor. Good base. Lifnei is okay. Who's harnu bezeh shelo leorot et bnei Israel. They warned us to be careful leorot to teach bnei Israel. Right? Asher lo kedat v'shlo kacha. That it should not kedat, not in shloka, not halacha. Shloka, that not right.
Well, look at that. Not according to das. Our general body of knowledge, which is shas and poskim, and the shlo halacha. The kaful loshem kedas the shlo halacha. If you noticed, I think when the Sefer Haredim brought it down, he only brought down shlo kedas. He didn't bring the extra other lashon of lo galog, but I believe that's what Rabbeinu Yonah says. Two things: this is lo kedas and lo kala.
V'amru Rabbeinu zichronam libracha, reish mem some avot.
Yeah, reish Masechtas Avos, the beginning of Masechtas Avos.
And then betunim bani, you should be careful in delivering judgment. When nimhari lev lahavin laarot lo yatzilo et nafshan mitit mishkol lifnei iver. And if you hurry, right, nimhari,
Right.
you hurry, to understand and to know, you will not save.
Yeah, I think it's lo yitziloi es nafsho. You won't save yourself. In yitzil, from saving, you won't save yourself. It says from placing
A stumbling block.
from placing a stumbling block. So if a person is going to not be misunim b'din, he's going to be quick to judge,
right?
and judge therefore wrongly, right, without verifying that in fact what the judgment is supposed to be is in fact true, right? By doing it, making a judgment quickly, he's not going to be able to save himself from placing a nipshal iver. He's going to be making a lifnei iver for people.
The chatat kadem, the sin is very big. Promotion ne'emar tehillim. Lo yadu, lo yavinu b'chashecha. Yitalachu kimotu komos de'aretz. They did not know, they did not understand in darkness, and they went, yimotu komos de'aretz. Yimotu is...
Yimotu, they will...
all places of the land.
Yimotu is like to shake, or to lo you do, have to take a look at the pasuk. Lo you do, lo you vinu,
Okay, in the darkness. And they went, yimotu komos de'aretz, and all the... what's in the earth? Move?
Yeah, but the question is moving, shake, the Yehelchu Yemutu call most there, and it shook all the foundations of the world.
Because they didn't...
By making mistakes, this is a shaking the foundations of the world.
The Odamur, and also they said in Avos Dalet Gimel, Heveze here beTalmud, be careful in learning, Sheshka got Talmud Ole Zadon, because forgetting the Talmud you could make a sin. Ve'amru ben Sota ki rabim chalalim hafilu, because a lot of chalalim
those who were wounded, I mean, or actually Rabim Chalalim Hafilu, many of the many were fell in battle.
Meshli Zayin Chavav Ze Talmid Shelo Yigia Le'Oral Morad. This student did not reach the knowledge of his L'Hora Umorad, to L'Hora's light.
To make decisions. I mean, this is referring to a Talmud Shlogi Lora. I mean, he hasn't achieved the level of being able to decide. Nevertheless, he goes ahead and decides.
Ve'otzumim kol harogea. Zeh Talmid she'egia le'ora ve'eno morad. And this is a Talmud who reached the point, but he does not teach.
It's also bad.
Why would that be bad?
Excuse me.
Why would that be bad?
Because if he's obligated, if he can decide, if he can pass, he's obligated to pass it. Yeah, he's obligated
You have to pass it on Torah. Torah is to pass on.
Yeah, that's right. To make decisions, if you're able to make the decisions, if you're qualified, you have to exercise your qualifications. Yeah. Okay, let's now that was Rabbeinu Yonah in his Sefer Sharai Tshuva. Right now, what does Rabbeinu Yonah say in his parish on Avos? Take a look.
Parish Rabbeinu Yonah Avos Perek Aleph. Hem amru shlosha devarim. They said three things: tevu metinim badim, etc. Lemorim, lehodot, veliposkin horot. Uposkim horot, uposkim et adin. To teachers, to
The Morim Horos, to those who are decision makers,
and to poskim, and to
those that decide decisions.
And the poskim of the halacha amru leval yismuchu b'machashava rishona. Do not go according to the first thoughts.
Yismuchu, don't rely.
Don't rely on your first thought.
Don't rely on your first makshav, on your first thoughts. Meaning that's very much similar to what we learned by the Yom Tov, number 3, right? That not to be soymech on shelo horos mitzad svora. Don't make your decisions based on logic. I mean, so the first thought that comes into your mind, don't rely on that as being the final decision and the truthful decision. Okay? It could be in the end, it could be. Right? But don't take it for granted that that's going to be the first thought that you have the final decision.
Except by waiting a long time.
Right. Rather you should wait, be very, very patient.
Ube'iyun adak leval yi'atu b'shikol hadat. And to study it, v'iyun hadat, and to
very finely, very intensely. You should study very intensely.
yit'u b'shikol hadat.
The value too.
What?
The value too.
The value?
The value. The
Laval.
value too.
That you should not.
shouldn't make a mistake.
Yeah, the bottom means you should not. Lo yitu,
Okay.
don't make a mistake. B'shikul hadas. Not to mean go through it very slowly and very finely in your analysis and your study, in order that you should laval yitu, you should not make a mistake. B'shikul hadas in your weighing of the different points in your mind.
Ki ha'adam ha'memaher la'arot, as a person who's quick institution to judge,
To rule.
the rule. Nikra Poshe is called a sinner. Ve'af al pi shechashav lomar
Poshe is actually Poshe is a certain type of sinner. He's a negligent. He's negligent. Poshe is being negligent. So if a person is going to be quick to make decisions, that's negligence.
Ve'af al pi shechashav lomar hamet, and even though he thought he was saying the truth, Ein zeh shogeg, this is not considered by mistake, unintentional. Ach karov l'mizid, it's very close to intentionally. Hu asher lo natam belibo lomar, this because he didn't put into his heart to say levav hanim harim lo yavi ladat, that somebody who's hurrying does not understand knowledge.
Lo yavin ladas. He's not going to come to recognize.
Ki ata'ut b'chol adam matzuihu, because the mistake of every kind is found.
Because ki hatois call the matzui, because mistakes are found by everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. You can't rely on what you understand to be absolutely true and faultless, because everybody makes mistakes. So you have to doubt yourself and think perhaps you're making a mistake.
וזהו שאמרו רבותינו זיכרונו לברכה, הוו זהירים בתלמוד, you should be careful learning, ששגגת תלמוד עולה זדון, because forgetting the Talmud עולה זדון brings up.
Because with learning the Talmud, when it comes to learning shgaga, an accident is going to be considered to be like deliberate, something deliberate. Because you can't say, well, you forgot or you misunderstood, because if you don't understand or you're not clear, you can't say. So if you say wrongly, that's not. You can't say that's accidental, that's unintentional. No, that's something which is considered to be intentional.
ועל זה אמר שלמה עליו השלום. Shlomo said in this matter, Reshit ish chacham be'enav, tikva lechasim menu. You should see a smart man in his eyes, and tikva, there's hope, lechasim, to take from him.
I've seen a wise person who's wise in his own eyes, meaning he holds himself to be a wise person. There's more hope for a fool than him. I mean, a person who thinks he's wise, right? It's better that a fool has more chance of making it than a person who thinks he's wise and he's really not.
וכמו שאמרו חכמים לפניכם, הגס ליבו בהוראה, שוטה רשע וגמרא. A person, what? Gas libo is a haughty person. Behorah shote.
I mean, a person who's going to be haughty in making decisions.
Shote rasha vegasruach. He's a fool and a rasha and a haughty person. Lachen ha'adam ha'moreh, therefore a man who teaches, yesh lo lisa v'ritem bedavar, he has to carry.
It's an expression. Yisa v'ritem, to carry and to give, but really it means he should
Go
weigh
back and forth.
back and forth all the considerations and all the aspects, facets of the issue in front of him.
And to burn in his heart.
Let his thoughts think.
Yes.
Let rot.
Let
Let
rot,
his
you're
thoughts
right,
rot.
I mean, let them like ferment. Let his
Yeah,
thoughts ferment. Let them really take root.
ולהשרותם כעניין, and to go להשרותם.
Lahashrosa ki inyan, and he should come to a evaluation of the point.
שאמרו מחמיצין את הדין, it says that we likewise it did, שעל ידי חיבוס because leaven, והמתנה,
He was like the fermentation.
והמתנה מוסיף סברה סברתו, and the
Vahamtana, the
waiting,
waiting, the delay.
adds to from thought to thought.
Mosif svora svora, meaning through allowing it to percolate, contemplate, and to wait, he's going to have mosif svora. He'll increase his thoughts on the original thought, on the thoughts.
But he'll pull up and he'll keep going on and on, like discussing it
more analysis. There'll be more analysis, right?
עד שידיד דין אמת לאמונתו.
Lamitasot.
He will, until he makes a true judgment.
Right, until the judgment will be the truthful of all truths, truthful judgments. Yeah.
כי במחשבה השנייה, because in the second thought, יראה לומר מה שלא ראה בשנה. He will come to understand what he didn't see the first time.
Very good.
Which is totally opposite when you take a test. You know, the first thought, write down your first. That's usually the right answer. You know? Everything else, we're saying here that it's not always true.
Okay. It's a show. So we'll stop here and continue next week.